I'd like to recognize Congresswoman Greene.
Thank you. I think this is a very important hearing to have as AI is progressing and working in a lot of different sectors, and I really appreciate each of you being here. I'm definitely not an expert in AI, but I would like to talk about the fears and concerns that people in my district and people all over the country have when it comes to AI. We certainly don't like the idea of AI replacing humans and replacing people, especially when it comes to jobs. And so when there's headlines like Alphabet announcing 12,000 job cuts globally while Chief Executive Officer singled out AI as a key investment area, that's what people start to think about. Or when Microsoft announces its $10 billion investment in OpenAI just days after saying it would lay off 10,000 employees, those are the kinds of things people think about. Now, there's a difference between robotics and AI. Obviously, robotics are a good thing. For example, tightening bolts or moving heavy objects like in manufacturing, we really appreciate that. But when it comes to AI being able to be smarter than humans or replace humans on the job, I think that's a major concern, especially for a country that's over $30 trillion in debt and an economy that's struggling. This is something also concerning for education. Learning that ChatGPT scored higher than many people on the MBA exam that was administered at Penn's elite Wharton School, that's definitely concerning, especially when thinking about how that could affect education. Just recently, ChatGPT is currently banned in New York City schools over cheating concerns, but then you think about what would this look like if AI became teachers, especially after the devastation caused to children's education levels, but also more importantly, kids being taught at home on computers. That was more devastating to them. The idea that AI could replace software engineers, journalists, graphic designers, that's also extremely concerning. So I think these are important conversations to have. But something that happened, I just learned about in researching for this hearing, was that there are scams that happen to people where AI is so intelligent, it's able to imitate people's voices and images. And there's been people taken advantage of in horrible ways where they've gotten phone calls from who they thought was their loved ones, but was not. And their loved one, which was really an artificial intelligence voice mimicking their loved one, was calling for help in serious distress, and then they got scammed out of a lot of money. That's terrifying and concerning that can happen. But another thing that happened recently was when San Francisco officials voted in December against a controversial measure that would have allowed police to deploy robots to use lethal force in extreme situations. But this happened after the San Francisco Board of Supervisors came it was a week after the board voted to approve the policy to allow what people called killer robots. But this is what people think about when they think of AI. They think of a robot that has the artificial intelligence to replace the police officer. But then the application to the military is where I thought was pretty concerning. Dr. Schmidt, I wanted to ask you, because I took to Google on this issue, and I saw a headline that said AI's impact on warfare will be as big as nuclear weapons. And I also saw another headline that said Eric Schmidt is building the perfect AI warfighting machine. So I thought you'd be the perfect person to ask about this. Could you explain a little bit?
Let me be clear, that's for the benefit of the United States.
Only if it's in the United States' hands, though, Dr. Schmidt.
And it will be. The trends in the military are fundamentally autonomy and drones and intelligence sensing gathering. The military spends most of its time looking at things and trying to analyze it. So in the near term, the benefits to the military are profound. It allows the service people who we've trained exquisitely, who are watching dumb screens, to use their higher factory skills and have the computer say, hey, look, this tank moved, or hey, this thing happened over, can you analyze it? I think a better framing for your constituents' fears is to say that AI will make the people much more successful in what they do, and that will drive higher incomes, higher jobs. And I think that that's the best, at least in the next 20 years, narrative about AI. It's true in the military, it's true in civilians as well.
One more question, my time's expired, but how do we, with China and their ability to constantly spy on us and steal our technology and information, how could we prevent China from stealing this type of artificial intelligence with our military?
Well,
and thank you.
Of course. The bad news is that these research ideas are in the public domain and international, so we can't prevent China from getting it. The Trump and Biden administrations have done a good job of restricting access to hardware, which is helpful, so good job, all of you. With respect to software, the biggest answer is more software people trained in the West, trained under our values, building systems that you as our representative have some level of regulatory control over. When they do it in China, you can't pass a law to change that, but you can in the United States.
Thank you. All right.